de hoje nós visitamos a maior coleção de Star Wars do mundo. Pois é, viemos até Petaluma, na Califórnia, para conhecer o Rancho Obi-Wan. E a gente não apenas visitou essa que é a maior coleção do mundo, reconhecida e certificada pelo próprio Guinness Book, mas também tivemos um tour exclusivo guiado pelo próprio dono de toda essa coleção e depois tivemos uma entrevista exclusiva com ele. Então vem com a gente para conhecer essa coleção que é simplesmente o sonho de qualquer fã de Star Wars. Aqui a gente encontra colecionáveis raríssimos, itens utilizados nas gravações dos filmes originais, praticamente todos os jogos de Star Wars já feitos, e tudo sendo guiado pelo adorável e carismático Steve Sansweet. Esse é mais um episódio especial da nossa série de vídeos explorando o universo de Star Wars aqui nos Estados Unidos. Então se você está chegando agora, se inscreve no canal e deixa a curtida para poder ter acesso aos próximos vídeos da nossa viagem. Bom, o Rancho Obi-Wan fica localizado em Petaluma, na Califórnia. A gente começou a nossa jornada em Los Angeles, fomos até Anaheim para Disneyland e o Galaxy's Edge e pegamos uma estrada de 6 horas até São Francisco. Acha que acabou? Que nada! Pegamos mais uma estrada de 1 ou 2 horinhas para chegar aqui em Petaluma. Chegando aqui, fomos recepcionados pelo adorável Steve Sansweet, que estava terminando seu café da manhã, e logo já começamos o tour. Isso aqui não é apenas um galpão cheio de tranqueira e brinquedo. Esse é um museu sem fins lucrativos que preserva a história física de Star Wars desde 1977. São centenas de milhares de itens, de réplicas e também bizarrices de todo mundo. Tem alguns itens bem curiosos que vocês vão ver. E o idealizador dessa coleção e o curador de tudo isso é uma verdadeira lenda dentro do fandom de Star Wars. Como comentei, seu nome é Steve Sansweet. E se você é um colecionador ou já leu alguma enciclopédia de Star Wars, pode ter certeza que você conhece esse nome. Steve foi o diretor de gestão de conteúdo e relações com os fãs da própria Lucasfilm por 15 anos. Ele era a ponte oficial entre o George Lucas e os fãs espalhados pelo mundo todo. Ele praticamente ajudou a moldar a forma como nós consumimos e amamos Star Wars até hoje. E nós tivemos a oportunidade e o privilégio absoluto de ter o Steve como nosso guia nessa aventura. Ele conhece a história por trás de cada item dessa coleção e divide isso com a gente com brilho nos olhos. Então apertem os cintos, porque a gente vai levar vocês junto com a gente nesse tour exclusivo. Espero que vocês gostem.
Well, hello there. Welcome to Rancho Obi-Wan. You'll never find a more splendid hive of fun and thrillery. You've taken your first step into a larger world. Here you shall see things beyond imagination, but your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. Stretch out with your feelings, but not with your hands. You may end up like that poor soul I had to deal with in the Mos Eisley Cantina. I must warn you that a visit here can lead to feelings of intense jealousy, but do not give in to hate. That leads to the dark side. If you're lucky, you also won't give in to a spending spree, even at the Rancho Obi-Wan gift shop. Then again, in my experience, there's no such thing as luck. So pay attention to all instructions, follow your guide, and you will experience a galactic, physical, and spiritual reawakening from a certain point of view. And remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Most tours do not start in the bathroom, but this tour does.
Let's go first, and oh my god.
These are personal care products from around the world for the last 48 years. Including embroidered toilet paper.
Yes.
Perfect.
Flush you must. Nice.
Use the Force.
This is from the original trilogy, from the first advance. This was the poster that was at US theaters when Star Wars first opened. They didn't get the art poster until the second month. This is George's favorite poster, the circus poster. Luke and Leia swinging on the rope. And this was the first poster that was partially done by Drew Struzan, who George adopted for all the subsequent posters for the prequels and the special editions. And collector's favorite poster, the 1-year happy birthday poster. So when Star Wars was still playing in US theaters for a year, they released this poster. There were only 1,000 of them printed. Most of them are gone. Another favorite poster is the Gone with the Wind poster, because this was based on the 1967 re-release poster of Gone with the Wind that George really liked, with Rhett and Scarlett kissing. So Han and Leia, because of course Empire Strikes Back was mainly a romance. And it was replaced after about a month by this poster by Tom Jung, who did the first poster. 20th Century Fox wanted more action. Another one of my favorites is the Revenge of the Jedi poster, which was withdrawn after George changed his mind and decided that Jedi don't seek revenge, and so he changed the name to Return of the Jedi. So this was out and withdrawn from theaters, but they also sent 6,000 of them to the US fan club, and they were sold for $10 each. Now these posters are going for hundreds or thousands of dollars. And a very rare poster, and the ugliest of the posters, because there were only 18 of these done for a special benefit for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in the US. And these went to 9 theaters in the US and Canada. And so they were very simple. One of my favorite rooms, the library. So we've got, I don't know how many books we have, but we have books from more than, let's see, 42 countries in 32 languages and Braille.
Oh my God.
Brazil is on the list.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
That's us.
Let's see if
Nice.
Portugal's on the list in Portuguese. So let's see if we can, where's the Brazil section? Yeah, we got a couple of books from Brazil and here.
Planeta de Agostini.
Yeah, so some early books and some more recent books. And the most expensive Star Wars book ever done, this was $3,500, and it's called Frames, and George Lucas personally selected all of the photos in here. So he spent about a year selecting the photos.
Oh my God.
And then they did this beautiful wooden case, this inlaid wooden case. And he signed each edition. These are replicas of the Sith statues in Palpatine's office in Revenge of the Sith, and they were supposedly from Sith mythology, and Sideshow Collectibles did brass versions, did 20 sets of these. And the easiest to read Star Wars book of all. Quick read. Kids books and comic books and annuals from the UK, and over there we have Mr. Spock.
Easter egg.
Well, the Star Trek series led to Star Wars, which led to the Star Trek movies, so we love them both. The role-playing game books from the 80s, when there was very little publishing out there at all about Star Wars. It was very popular. From Spain, we've got some pop-up books for the Droids and Ewoks cartoons, which were very popular in Brazil and led to the making of one of the rarest figures of all time, Vlix.
We're friends with Jeter.
Oh, you know Jeter?
Yes.
He has an amazing collection.
Yes, he speaks very highly of you.
Great guy.
And we went to his house and we saw the collection, and then he told us the story about the figure, which was the print one. It was like a rare,
very rare,
Yes.
a mold or
It's
something.
the rarest figure of all. Of all the action figures produced in the world, Vlix is the rarest, and it was only available in Brazil in 1988. Late. Nobody was selling any Star Wars anywhere in the world at that time, but Glaslite did the Vlix figure on a card. I had a chance many years ago, decades ago, to buy one, and I passed it up. And now you can't touch them or even find them. One of the earliest Star Wars books from Timothy Zahn, the Thrawn trilogy. And my earliest Star Wars collectible. This came to my office at the Wall Street Journal. It's a marketing brochure from Lucasfilm and 20th Century Fox, and I saw it and I went crazy. It was sent to a different reporter at the Wall Street Journal, and after he was finished looking at it, he threw it in his trash can.
Oh my God.
And I waited till he left for the day and then tiptoed over to the trash can and rescued it. So that was my first dumpster diving for Star Wars, but not the last.
Worth it.
Very worth it. These are some of the 17 Star Wars books that I've written. So the very first one, a lot of collectors say this turned them on to Star Wars collecting. So it was called From Concept to Screen to Collectible, and it was all about how Star Wars went from an idea in George's mind to the script, to the making of the movie, and then to the production of the toys. So it had lots of pictures of rare toys, and this came out in 1992, which is how I got associated with Lucasfilm. And 4 years later, I left the Wall Street Journal after 26 years and joined Lucasfilm for 15, and actually came back for a year, so 16 altogether. The Star Wars Vault, Star Wars The Ultimate Action Figure Collection. This was sold in Brazil, in Portuguese.
In Portuguese, yeah.
You're one.
Yeah, somebody made me into a Funko, friend.
Oh, that's nice.
In the Guinness World Records book from 2014. And that's the tour, so it's been nice knowing you and seeing you, and hope...
Oh my god.
You want some more?
I want some more.
Okay.
We have some more. Yeah. Please.
So here we go.
Oh my
Please.
God.
This is where the fun begins.
Yeah.
Let's see if 3PO is willing to talk to us.
Hello, I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations. How might I serve you?
Oh, well, that's good. He's ready to serve us. So this is mostly an appearance costume that Lucasfilm used for Darth Vader. And the helmet and mask, we believe, could have been made by the production for Empire Strikes Back and maybe used in Return of the Jedi. But it's been repainted since then, so there's no way to tell for sure. We can't screen match it. But the codpiece we know is from the original costume because it has Bermans and Nathans, and it says Darth Vader. Star Wars guitars from Japan and the US, and this is a fan-made Millennium Falcon guitar that actually plays and has an amp out. Original Stormtrooper boots from, let's see, which movie is this from? Return of the Jedi. So the way I can really tell is because the Jedi boots painted the heels and the soles, and they weren't painted on Empire or Star Wars. These guys, if the compressor were on, actually move a little and play the cantina music. They were from a big toy store chain called FAO Schwartz, which went bankrupt a decade or more ago, and these were sold at the bankruptcy auction. And this is one of my treasures. It's probably the oldest thing in the museum. So this is the canvas banner that was used when Charlie Lippincott, the head of marketing, merchandising, publicity, he had like 3 lines of titles on his business card, went to fan conventions a year before Star Wars came out. So he went to a couple of conventions in Southern California, including San Diego Comic-Con in 1976 and Worldcon, which was in Kansas City, Missouri. And that's an image that was created by Ralph McQuarrie, the great concept artist of Star Wars. And it was taken and cut out from a cast and crew t-shirt and sewed onto the banner. Wow. And then Joe Johnston painted the Star Wars, the early Star Wars logo. Of course, he was the art director of ILM at the time, and he, of course, went on to become a director himself. Movie theater banner from the original Star Wars. This is the actual door to the Mos Eisley Cantina, and you see from the photographs on the left, Jawa is sitting in front of it, and a friend of mine, an archaeologist, was doing an expedition to Tunisia and met the guy who rented the building to the production and asked him if they had left any props or costumes. And he said, I don't know, that was 20 years ago. And my friend said, oh, I'll just look around. And he spotted this door in the bottom photo there. The door was being used as the door to his chicken coop.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, we raise chickens here in Petaluma. We've got 8 or 9 chickens in the chicken coop here.
Them.
You could hear them. They're morning songs. These are all of the US action figures from the original trilogy. And the display was made for us by a big retail chain, Target. And we did a promotion, an exhibit for them down in Los Angeles for the opening of The Force Awakens. They did a whole area in downtown Los Angeles. And we had a little booth there. And it's guarded by 575 stormtroopers. So they put this together and then gave it to us. Here are production-made masks of 2 Cantina creatures. George liked this one so much that he became sort of the look of Cad Bane. The original crotch piece from Forlam, which stood for the Love of Money. ILM named it. 2 actual C-3PO hands, one actually used in the production of Return of the Jedi, and one that was a fan club sweepstakes gift. Pieces of the sail barge material from the sails, wrist communicators from the speeder bike, belt, gloves, and a hat that she didn't wear because she didn't go to a press junket in Hong Kong. If you're hungry, we can have a little porg.
It's a huge porg.
That's a big guy. Over here, we've got a Wampa costume that won a guy first place in a costume contest in Mexico City at a Star Wars convention. Pieces of the blown up planet Kijimi from the sequels. And one of my treasures, the remains of Qui-Gon Jinn from Episode 1. So when they had the wax dummy and they set it on fire for the funeral pyre, and then George called cut, and 2 guys came in with fire extinguishers and hosed it down just in case the wax didn't melt and they needed to do the scene again. And then they took it out the back of the outdoor set, and I followed them. Everybody else went up front. And there in the grass, I found pieces left of his costume, some of his belt buckle straps, a food pellet, so the remains of Qui-Gon Jinn. This is the actual Boba Fett rifle from the first iteration of Boba Fett, the all-white costume that George first saw. So it was tried on at Skywalker Ranch. One of the editors tried it on. Pieces of feed from the set. Battle droid piece, after they sliced it in parts from Industrial Light and Magic, they actually did film the battle droid parts on the ground in San Francisco area. A battle droid arm from one of the full-size battle droids. Snow from the Wampa Cave for the special edition. Weird stuff. A rain suit when they filmed the Ewok scenes for Return of the Jedi in Northern California, and the Blue Harvest t-shirt because they didn't want people to know that they were filming Return of the Jedi. These were both licensed pieces, Han and Carbonite and Boba Fett. This is a Skywalker Ranch bicycle, so it's got Darth Vader up here. So it's got pieces of Kenner products, and it was totally redone, and it's a great bike. People think it's the Pee Wee Herman bike from his movie, but it's not. It's the Empire Strikes bike.
Oh.
This is a lenticular display for Episode 1 from Germany. So one part is Darth Maul, and you look at it from a different angle, and it's Yoda. One of my favorite recent pieces, I keep saying that because everything is my favorite. The melted Darth Vader helmet that they used in the sequels. So this was done by Prop Shop, which was a company that was started by the people who made the props for The Force Awakens. The company lasted about 2 or 3 months and then went out of business. So they didn't make very many of anything. So now we get into the toys and collectibles. So these are the 12-inch series figures, but these are the ones from Lily Lady in Mexico up to Boba Fett is from the US. But Lily Lady produced a Tusken Raider, which was not produced in the US. And their R2-D2, unlike the US one, was not molded. They just used a paper label like the small action figure, and they made a different. The Jawa is made out of wood instead of plastic. Movie viewers, the Popey Star Wars figures from Japan, there were 15 of them. Italy, France, Mexico, Spain, Japan, the original series. Also from Spain and very rare is the Colgate toothpaste box that came with 70 different action figures, but this particular one has Bib Fortuna, who had the worst teeth in all of Star Wars. And then bootlegs have become very big among collectors. So we have the Turkish bootlegs, which are perhaps the most famous, the Uze. They thought they could get away with it because they called it Stars War, and this is Blue Stars. So it's basically a snowtrooper that's painted blue. And then the Imperial gunner at the controls of the Death Star laser cannon, it's actually a Casio calculator.
Oh my gosh.
Polish action figures, here's Boba Fett. Hungarian action figures, this is a window display, very rare window display. Russia, or the Soviet Union, it was just changing to Russia. They didn't bother to paint them, but these are bootleg. Let's see what we have over here. Tiki mugs, which have become very popular. These are employee awards from Lucasfilm for years of service, 30 years of service.
Wow.
This is 20, I can't read it in the light.
20 years of distinguished?
20
20.
years, yeah. And this is also 30 years. And the George Lucas Tiki Cup. which shows that George has a sense of humor because he had to approve this. This was an employee gift at Skywalker Properties for a Christmas party. Sparkling wine, Skywalker Ranch fire engine, a Dave Filoni plush. I mean, everybody needs a Dave Filoni plush. Yeah. And he messed up my Ahsoka figure by scrolling on the side. And so various pieces from meetings at Lucasfilm, invitations to meetings, television summit in 2004, Kenner breakfast piece for its employees, Forces With Us in 82, a frog in carbonite. So this was a proposal to redo StarWars.com in the 90s, and they put their DVD in here and then presented this as the folder for their...
Okay, but why a frog?
The name of the company was Frog Design.
Frog Design.
This is something Disney did. So you could get your face scanned and then they would come up with the... put you in carbonite.
Yeah. Cool.
And of course everybody's favorite, Jar Jar in carbonite.
Jar Jar.
Lunch boxes, wonderful Barbie dolls.
Yes. Oh, yeah, no.
So these are the limited edition Barbie dolls. They're just incredible.
Yes, they didn't went to Brazil, so I didn't get them.
No,
They're beautiful.
they are amazing. Early bootleg Japanese model kits, more of a German army look to them.
Yeah.
Strange pieces from Meerkats from the UK. They were licensed. Cell phone case for a flip phone from... Over here we have a British artist who's done figures in paper. A Le Creuset roasting pan that weighs about 20 pounds.
It looks heavy.
It's very heavy. So these are some sideshow pieces and some episode 3. This was a gift to... The episode 1 and the episode 3 pieces were Lucasfilm and ILM gifts to vendors and people who work with them, 20th Century Fox employees. And up here we have pieces that were made for Lucasfilm Animation for the Clone Wars and Rebels. So a lot of times they sculpted in 3D and then gave those to the computer artist and they could do full turnarounds.
And for reference for shading and stuff.
Absolutely. There's something that we don't know what it is. The large AT-AT made out of a heavy foam, like a florist foam that you stick flowers into, like the green foam. And this was given to me by a friend in France whose family owned a toy store chain. And he said somebody came in the 90s and gave it to him because they knew he loved Star Wars, but he didn't know where it was from or when it was made. My favorite toy of all time from Japan. These guys are lazy. Japanese R2 vacuum cleaner, Japanese rice snacks from 1978, candy boxes. So all of these had little premiums inside, stickers or small vehicles and figures, wasabi dishes, lightsaber chopsticks. Everybody needs a Darth Vader toaster with the original toast. Star Wars ladies' shoes, licensed. These were hand painted by a guest.
Wow.
And beautiful.
Beautiful.
The Rancho Obi-Wan logo in the back. And our Grogu section, love Grogu.
Who doesn't?
Here's Grogu hiding.
Oh my God.
And everybody needs a Grogu hot water bottle.
Agreed.
Especially after a day at Disneyland.
Yes.
So, US baseball, there are lots of Star Wars nights at most baseball, annual Star Wars nights that most baseball teams put on. And so they do bobbleheads, Wookiee of the Year, caps, San Francisco Giants. But the best is the actual Louisville Slugger, which makes the bats for Major League Baseball in the US. The lightsaber Louisville Slugger, they only let the San Francisco Giants make one because that's the home team here. Kenner store display from when the action figures first came back in 1995. A wonderful lighted display from, again, FAO Schwartz when they went out of business. And from Disney, Star Tours, Galaxy's Edge. I love the in-fantasy pieces that they make that look like they were made for use on Star Wars. A flight of beer in Rancor tooth glasses. Pieces from the Halcyon, the hotel that they did that cost loads of money to go to. I never quite made it.
Yeah.
Oh, a Bomar monk. That was fan-made.
Yeah.
Japanese soda dispenser. So this was a sweepstakes prize in Japan. And you could load 8 cans in here. And have you often wondered how the Dianoga, the trash monster, got aboard the Death Star? Barrel says hazardous waste. Uh-oh. You're ugly, Dianoga. Go home. Thank you. A battle droid also from the FAO Schwartz bankruptcy sale. Yoda from episode 1. This sculpture of me and these Hera and Zeb was made by a couple from Venezuela who came up to do San Diego Comic-Con, took my picture and took a picture of Dave Filoni. They came back the next year with sculptures of each of us in the middle. So Vlix, these are done by a Mexican sculptor, the wooden figures. I bought so many of them that he made one of me. So there are people who make figures of me. This was one from a Japanese guy in 2008. So I said, oh, very nice, thank you. And he said, ah, but magic. And I said,
Always two there are.
Always two there are. I don't quite have his assets. This was done by a friend in Texas as a birthday gift. Scary. Very scary. From the Italian garrison of the 501st Legion, Dubak cigarettes, skull caps or yarmulkes from Tel Aviv, cream of Jawa soup. Fans make the strangest things. From Ukraine, nesting dolls. These are all unlicensed pottery from the 80s and early 90s. And so you would buy what we call whiteware, paint it yourself, and then bring it back to the shop, and they would fire it in their kiln, and then you'd have a painted version, and then you could put Christmas lights inside. So that's what a lot of this is. And over here we've got some amazing artist-made, very limited edition figures. Teen Wookiee. Very strange. Star Worms.
Oh, that's weird.
That's just about the strangest. From Spaceballs we have Dark Helmet and, unfortunately, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
That's grim.
And these are the Severed Limbs collection. So all the limbs that have been cut off in all of the Star Wars movies.
It's a long list.
A long, very long list. One of my favorite new characters is BB-8. So we expanded our collection, and this is still like probably 1/5 or 1/10 of BB-8 stuff that's out there. We did this for one of the celebration events in Orlando, and it was so popular that we figured we needed to put it up here permanently. So this is a prototype kid's bedroom from the mid-1980s with Star Wars from all over the world and other things that you might find in a kid's bedroom at the time, like sports equipment, music equipment, instruments, records, a very strange looking Yoda mask. It has a good view out the window.
Yes.
One of the strangest items ever made, Jar Jar Binks' lollipop tongue. So they wanted kids. So I marched into the office of the head of licensing and said, how could you? He said, kids love gross candy. Whoops. So this is one that has been remade for us out of resin because the original ones are all, we've got one original one and it's in really bad shape. A lot of food products. This is 40-year-old Star Wars cookies, C-3PO cereal, milk, SpaghettiOs, ketchup and mustard, mayonnaise, cheese slices from the UK, beans. Pisco is a popular drink in Peru, and my friend Marco, who is friendly with the guys who make Pisco Porton, did 2 bottles with 2 different images and asked me to pick one when I was in Peru.
Wow,
So this is Theed, I love it. And this was actually made by when Pepsi owned Lay's Pepsi, so they did a big promotion for episode 1 and they actually carved this in a bottle of champagne. Pieces of, this is the making of the full-size Boba Fett licensed piece. Strange Halloween costumes. Paper mache masks from Mexico, and a very strange stormtrooper costume box from Australia. Look at the high-end Amidala costume from Ruby's back in '99. And I forget the name of this character. That's not Obi-Wan. Maybe it's an Ewok. A hairless Wookiee. That's what it is. No doubt, Matt. No doubt. Well, we've got all the hair here. Here's a wonderful jacket from Mark Echo. And a Pitroy clothing rack from FAO again. The Star Wars logo comes from a New York City theater that had it on opening day, and when they came down, they went to a friend of the manager of the theater. He put it on his son's bedroom wall, and then years later, his son went off to college, and he put a small ad in a toy magazine that I subscribed to, and I bought it. And I got it at my house in Los Angeles, didn't have any place to put it, but when we moved up here, they fit perfectly. Large size Boba Fett and Darth Vader, the Legos, were sold by FAO Schwartz. So close to bankruptcy, they were $10,000 a piece, which was way more than my budget. And I got a call from my personal shopper at one of their stores, and she said 80% off, and I said, sold. These are made by a friend of mine named Chuck Bowman in Florida. So the Bantha and the Tauntaun rocking horses. This was for the Rogue station from Nissan. So this was part of their display when they went around to auto shows in 2015. This is an actual drivable go-kart for episode 1. There was a sweepstakes prize from a chain of supermarkets in the Midwest of the US. And then we have the wonderful Lego section. So Lego was actually saved by licensing Star Wars. They were in bad financial condition in 99, 97, 98. And it was their very first licensed product in 1999. So it's been, last year was 25 years. And these are some of the earliest kits. Some Nesquik tie-ins from Spain. Minifigures that were made by fans, put on miniature cards. So this is a near complete collection of Lego sets for the last 26 years, including some store displays. This was guess how many pieces and win. I don't know how many pieces though. I know I won it on eBay many years ago. They've done some wonderful stuff. And one of our docents, Mark Morita, built most of these, including the multicolored AT-AT. Wow. And somebody else made a figure of me holding an action figure. And then we got an email one year from somebody who was an intern at Lego in Billund, Denmark for the summer. And he said, I built this gold and purple Millennium Falcon. Would you be interested in it?
Wow.
So I said, yeah. So he sent it to us as a gift. We get a lot of gifts from fans. 1 or 2 lightsabers for master replicas mainly, and Icon's the first replica licensee. Mm-hmm. So some of them signed by Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Thermal Detonator. And my latest obsession from a company named Regal Robot. They've done some amazing maquette replicas. So these are exactly the same. They scan them in 3D and then paint them based on their references. And then the artists who actually made them, like Phil Tippett, Chris Wallace, Dave Carson, actually do sketches that go along with them and sign the plaques. Joe Johnson. Now we come to the treasure room. A very strange wooden C-3PO that was done somewhere in Canada and purchased by an antique guy, a fireman in the south of the US, and sold via eBay 25 years ago. Actual pieces of the Death Star from Return of the Jedi, including hand-painted gun towers. Bronze Darth Vader, sculpted by Lawrence Noble, who did the bronze Yoda that's at the ranch and at Lucasfilm headquarters in San Francisco at the Presidio. A Yoda made from the original molds. One of the Mos Espa Gorgs that Jar Jar wanted to eat. Of course, we honor Obi-Wan in our Day of the Dead display.
Fair enough.
Ralph McQuarrie's original sketches, the very first sketches he did for George Lucas when he was hired in 1975. An amazing artist and a really nice guy. First met him in the early 90s when I was doing my first book. And original Joe Johnston storyboards for Star Wars. Luke, Han, and Leia as My Little Ponies. And Bratz dolls, obviously both fan-made. Leia's necklace from the original Finnish jewelry company that made it. A jeweled purse from a company and designer in Beverly Hills, California. Swarovski crystal figures. Yves Saint Laurent cosmetics from episode 1. And this wonderful ceramic series from Sigma in Japan. And where else are you going to find a George Lucas paper bag hand puppet?
Oh my god.
We actually used that in Celebration 1 at the opening ceremony on video. So that's a prototype of Yarna del Gargan, which they never made back in the 80s. And then one that was actually made years later, and then a fan-made version of what it would have looked like. A prototype of the 12-inch, it's actually 15-inch IG-88. Both versions of the rocket-firing Boba Fett. This is made by a company, a licensee in France named Atticus, and they did this giant cutaway version of the Millennium Falcon. All of the figures sold separately, of course. And then it wasn't lighted, so I was disappointed because it looked so great inside. So I brought in somebody to light it from the inside. And then if you look over there, you can see Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in their final battle. These are done by a very talented guy in Mexico, the Millennium Falcon, and these are pewter from Malaysia. These models were built by a friend of mine named Randy Newbert, and he makes model kits for fans to put together, but I can't assemble them because I'm not very talented in that. So I've purchased the actual models that he puts together to show how they go together. Original sketch of the land speeder from the drafting department in the UK with the original hot chocolate or coffee or tea stains, something. I have to do a DNA match for those, but more there is.
Oh my god. Whoa.
Follow me, guys. This corridor was built by the R2 builders for Celebration 4 in Los Angeles in 2007. There was a space between the two buildings. This building was finished, and then we decided to add on and redo the next barn before we became a nonprofit and opened the museum to tours. So these are sideshow pieces and a Japanese stormtrooper. Uh-oh, what's that?
So we're just about to execute the Wookiee, and he says, "You can't kill me today, it's Life Day." Life Day. I don't even know what that is, do you?
Please tell me you executed him anyway.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
That's for sure. I mean, he was
Uh-oh.
just... You.
Yeah?
You in Rebel Starship Corridor 1138. What are you doing there?
I'm just showing these folks
We'll need
so
to see some identification.
you don't need to see our identification.
We don't need to see their identification.
What about the guests?
Oh, these aren't the guests you're looking for.
These aren't the guests we're looking for.
We can continue on our tour.
We can let them through now.
Thanks, bud.
Move along.
Yeah,
Move along.
watch your step.
My god.
Artists done helmets for charity.
Wow.
Skateboard decks for charity, most of them. Ride-on speeder bike sweepstakes prize. This is a fan-made, it's bigger than the Hasbro HasLab piece, fan-made Jabba piece done out of foam core and fabric and wood. I love these pieces, the art. And where else are you going to see Darth Peanut? Japanese golf bags. Golf is very big in Japan. This piece was rescued from Celebration 5 or 7, I forget which one. So it was a piece on a TV show in the US called Cupcake Wars. And in this particular one, the challenge was to do some Star Wars stuff. And Ashley Eckstein, who played Ahsoka in the TV series, in the Clone Wars series, was one of the judges. And the winners were from Utah, and they baked 1,000 cupcakes for the Celebration VIP party, and this was the display that they were put on. And then somebody from ILM, PR guy, came out and said, "Can you save this? They want to destroy it." And I said, "Oh yeah, we can take care of it." This Rebel command table was built for Lucasfilm when the first Blu-rays came out for the original trilogy in 2011, and they used this in a small booth on the floor of Comic-Con to show a trailer for the Blu-rays. Han and Carbonite was a costume for an ILM Halloween party. This was done by artist Randy Martinez for the first Celebration Europe. So of course it's a Sgt. Pepper parody. This is wonderful wooden action figures. Yaddle is a bread sculpture. It was commissioned by Lucasfilm Animation. They had their wrap party here for one of their series a year ago. And the bakers said it might last a couple of months, so it lasted more than a year. Wow. We've got a little cracking in the lightsaber, but it's all bread and then covered with shellac. Crazy. This is a wonderful Vader samurai piece from Japan, from the oldest doll company still in existence in Japan. It's more than 400 years old, Yoshitaku. This is done by a Mexican artist. He actually made and entered the costume contest in Chicago Celebration, totally dressed head to toe in a beaded stormtrooper costume. So, and this is amazing. The world's largest Star Wars oil painting done by a friend, 15 feet by 8 feet, called 20th Century Space Opera, using toys. This wonderful, most of this is original art. One of the Norwegian crew outfits. They actually had boots, they didn't just wear socks out in the snow. This is done by an artist from the Clone Wars, Russell Chang, and it's an homage to the original Bounty Hunters by Ralph McQuarrie, same color scheme. This guy and the one over there are from the Rose Parade float, the Star Wars Spectacular in 2007 for the 30th anniversary. So it's covered with things that were alive, like poppy seeds, sugar, cinnamon, and then it's sprayed with a fire coating so the bugs don't get too crazy with it. We did a fundraiser years ago when we had artists do versions of the Death Star. We provided the original Death Star mold and they made fun pieces, and Lucasfilm said they're all fine except nothing that impinges on another franchise or another company's movies. So we couldn't do Alien, we couldn't. The people who do the happy face have a license for that, and they are very litigious. They sue everybody who misuses the happy face, which is not too happy. This large Darth Vader is from Toys R Us in their main store in New York City in Times Square. And when they were finished using it in 2008, they were substituting for a clone trooper head made out of cardboard. And I thought this was too, even though I had seen it, I didn't realize it was so big. They called Lucasfilm and said, would you like it for free? And Lucasfilm said, no, but why don't you ask Steve if he wants it? And I said, free? Large Vader? Yeah. And then I didn't realize how big it was and how heavy it was. So it's 8 feet tall and weighs about 700 pounds. So they had to build a custom crate and ship it across country. So free was $5,500, and that was 20 years ago.
And how did it come in?
With the roll-up garage door.
Ah, okay.
It was still tough.
Okay.
And then
it makes sense now.
It stayed back here for years before we built this out. This is a Malaysian shadow puppet done by a friend of mine named Tintoy Chu. He does pop culture and old style shadow puppets from Southeast Asia. Lawrence Noble, who did the Yoda statue, Frankenvader and R2 Berry. So here are pieces with indigenous artists who painted a BB-8, a Lola, and a Vader mask. And these were gifts for my birthday, recent birthday. An actual chair from ship that Obi-Wan, Bail Organa, and Jeremy Bullock was the pilot, Captain Colton. Beautiful paintings. And that was from the very first art-inspired helmet design. So this is called the Vader Project. And these are pieces that they made more than 100 helmets, and then they were auctioned off. These are pieces done by artists at Disney, Pixar, Lucasfilm, and Marvel. This is a Ralph McQuarrie piece that was never used. It was an ad to congratulate Steven Spielberg on the success of E.T., and they picked another piece instead. And then this piece disappeared for 30 years, and I was in the right place at the right time. Done by a tattoo artist, Lando. This is Dave Filoni's art for the cover of the first Clone Wars comic. A parody of Guernica from an artist in Spain. This was sent over by Dave Filoni's assistant when I was still working at Lucasfilm. She said, Dave thought you might like this scribble from his desk. I said, that's a hell of a scribble. Yeah. A potential piece of marketing art from Tom Jung, who did the first poster. This was a special Halloween costume for a morning show in the US on NBC called The Today Show, and one of their hosts was inside, Kathy Lee Gifford. She's still there. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Steve. The Topps company did trading cards, one of the very first licensees, and this is from the first Star Wars Galaxy series. So we all thought it was a painted version. We didn't know that it was three-dimensional. It's done by an artist named Tom Taggart, and somebody bought it, and then I bought it from that person. And he said, yeah, it's three-dimensional. I said, no, it's not. It's just flat. He said, trust me. So I love it. Leia in a button portrait. This is called retirement. So we have the Emperor feeding the clone chickens with Darth Rooster on the fence. Darth Rooster. And a bust of Ralph McQuarrie that was done by Lawrence Noble. Tim and Greg Hildebrand, an original painting that was done for the Shadows of the Empire set. From a major sculptor artist in Peru. This is the normal piece, and this is a piece that my friend Marco commissioned, and a piece commemorating Ralph that was done by my friend Mark Ratz, an Australian artist. So Star Wars has connected me with people all over the world that I've become good friends with. It's an Ewok costume that I actually wore for Celebration 4, and the mask is made of pieces from Stuart Freeborn, the costume maker's original pieces to make the Ewok costumes. So it was assembled by a guy named Tom Spina, who now runs Regal Robot. And the rest of the costume was done by a fan costume maker in Los Angeles. And now I will turn on the arcade. So this is the very first arcade machine. It's from Australia in 1982. And then the US machines were the first video games. In 1983 came out with Star Wars, or 1982 also came out with Star Wars and Empire. And then in 83 or 84, they came out with the Jedi game. These games challenged me. I've never succeeded on the racing game.
Oh, the racing is my favorite.
Oh, go.
I like the Nintendo 65.
Oh, the Nintendo, okay. So a lot more masks, a lot of master replicas pieces, some fan-made pieces, and some Don Post pieces.
Estar aqui no Rancho Obi-Wan não é apenas para ver esses itens maravilhosos, ou colecionáveis raros, ou até mesmo para ouvir as histórias do Steve, mas sim para celebrar talvez o maior legado desse cara, que foi a comunidade de Star Wars. Cada item dessa coleção representa a alegria de uma criança abrindo um presente, ou o esforço de um fã criando algo com as suas próprias mãos do outro lado do mundo. É uma verdadeira celebração do que significa ser fã de algo. Essa experiência foi sem dúvidas um dos momentos mais marcantes da minha vida. E absolutamente nada disso teria acontecido sem a ajuda de uma pessoa, então eu preciso deixar aqui um grande, gigante agradecimento ao nosso grande amigo Jetor. Há uns tempos atrás, antes da viagem, eu fui até a casa dele para conhecer a coleção dele, comentei que a gente ia vir aqui, que a gente sonhava em fazer esse tour e uma entrevista com o Steve, e o Jetor fez essa ponte, conversou com o pessoal do Rancho Obi-Wan, nos passou ali o contato. Então, Jetor, se você estiver assistindo isso, muito obrigado por ter tornado esse sonho realidade, e que a força esteja sempre com você, meu amigo. E para você que acompanhou esse vídeo até o final, eu só tenho a dizer muito obrigado, e eu espero do fundo do coração que vocês tenham gostado. Nós com certeza não fomos os primeiros a vir aqui no Rancho Obi-Wan, mas eu tenho quase certeza que fomos os primeiros a trazer essa cobertura completa para vocês. Então, se esse tour fez seu coração bater mais forte, não esqueça de deixar o like, de se inscrever no canal e de mandar esse vídeo para aquele seu amigo que gosta de Star Wars ou que é um colecionador. Ajudem com que esse vídeo atinja mais fãs de Star Wars. E claro, fiquem de olho porque esse vídeo aqui ficou gigante, então a nossa entrevista completa com ele vai ficar para um vídeo que vai sair na semana que vem, tá bom, gente? Muito obrigado por tudo, que a força esteja com todos vocês e vejo vocês na próxima.